There may come a time when the average smartphone camera just isn't good enough. Thankfully, there are three devices that try to fit that bill in unique ways. So, would you rather freeze time by taking pictures with a Samsung Galaxy S4 Zoom, a Nokia Lumia 1020, or a Sony QX10? I'm Andrew with mobileburn.com. Let's find out. All three of the phones included in this comparison are very unique devices that present their unique set of skills and challenges. With the Galaxy S4 Zoom, you get a camera first and a phone second. It has the far-reaching 10x optical zoom, a 16 megapixel sensor, and optical image stabilization to help reduce blurry photos. The large size sometimes makes it tough to carry around because it's thick and chunky. The curved lower half provides great grip for taking photos, but it's a pain in the you-know-what the other times when you try to type or just use the phone under normal conditions. The interface is familiar to anyone who has used a Samsung device. It has several different shooting modes for everything from fixing someone's face in a group photo to taking an HDR-style image with rich tones. Jumping into the expert modes brings up a dial to change white balance, brightness, and ISO, so users have more control. There's even a My Mode section, so you can have shortcuts to the favorite shooting modes. The zoom name comes into play with the on-screen controls to get closer, but it's probably easier and more comfortable to zoom in or out with the physical dial. As for the quality of the Galaxy S4 Zoom photos, they're surprisingly average. The image stabilization makes objects in motion stay focused, and they look very good in daylight, but they are often noisy, so the gains are mostly gone. You'd really expect the camera to be better in this situation, and the sad truth is, it's simply not. The Nokia Lumia 1020 is a different beast because it's a phone that happens to have a really good camera. It's not free from having an odd shape because it has a pretty big 41 megapixel camera on the back. It also comes with optical image stabilization and a xenon flash for enhanced low light photography. Because the 1020 takes such a large photo, you're able to retroactively zoom in on targeted areas to a decent degree. It's not as thorough as capturing objects from far away, but it is effective in most instances. The body is otherwise solid and very comfortable to take photos with, thanks to a dedicated camera key and sturdy frame. The interface is also easier to master than the S4 Zoom. On-screen buttons provide fast access to changing white balance, ISO, brightness, and focus. There aren't dozens of shooting modes as seen on the Zoom, but Nokia has a ridiculous amount of different camera apps for focusing, action, and other smart modes. Jumping between those apps is not fun, but it does help keep the main camera app clean and less cluttered for standard photography. Taking photos can be a tiny bit slow, but the results will make up for it in most cases. Aside from taking sharp photos that look exceptional, if you keep your eye on the white balance, the Lumia 1020 takes great video as well. Though the auto settings weren't always pinpoint, I was able to take a good photo 90% of the time when using this device. Judging the interface on the Sony QX10 is tough because there technically isn't one. The QX10 is a lens-style camera, meaning it's capable of operating completely independent of another device. There's a nearly 19 megapixel lens with optical steady shot in order to steady images and maintain focus. A shutter button on the right takes photos, and a zoom dial takes tighter or wider photos with 10x optical zoom. There's even a tripod mount on the bottom in case you decide to get fancy. And if all else fails, you can still use the onboard Wi-Fi pairing to connect it to another smartphone and use the mobile device as a live viewfinder. I found this to be the preferable way to use the QX10 because it's the best way to see that my photo was framed properly and in focus. The downside of this method is that it takes a long time to pair up, and on one occasion it wouldn't pair at all. By the time I grabbed the QX10 out of my bag or pocket to connect to a phone, I may have missed the moment because so much time has passed. The QX10 must be used independently when time is a factor, but it flourishes best in the slow but useful connected periods. There's a good chance that you might be willing to overlook the impracticality because the photos and videos are so good. Sharp, bright, colorful, clear, and above what's expected from a smartphone because this isn't a smartphone camera. The QX10 is truly something incredible. During the days that I tested this device, I was taken aback by how much fun it was to deal with the unorthodox style and still wind up with great pictures. It wasn't comfortable to use all the time, but those photos were definitely worth it. It doesn't take a genius to see that the Samsung Galaxy S4 Zoom and Sony QX10 are harder to use than the Nokia Lumia 1020. The ease of use factor alone is enough to sway most people towards the Lumia as a result. I still have to admit, the Sony QX10 is the best camera of the bunch for obvious reasons, but that advantage is offset by Sony's lens camera costing $250 on top of the smartphone that you already need. The QX10 earns high marks in every category dealing with video and photos, so it's almost worth it to put up with the added bulk in your pocket and the slow start times at inopportune moments. Sadly, it didn't score as high in the speed and serviceability categories, which leads me to think that the Lumia 1020 might be the best compromise. It offers the convenience of a smartphone and a camera that's better than you typically experience. Though Windows Phone might put a lot of people off, the 1020 is still preferable to the poor experience offered by the Zoom, which isn't good enough as a camera nor a phone to warrant carrying around that extra bulk. For the sake of your wallet and the ease of your mind, the Nokia Lumia 1020 is probably the best bet in this category. I'm Andrew with mobileburn.com. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to click like and subscribe. Until next time.